Hi there. Now we're going to do lesson 327. I need but call and you will answer me. This is such a declaration. All I need to do is call you and you will answer me. God wants us to know through these teachings that Jesus is giving us that it is always there answering. Any single time, all we need to do is call. So let's read paragraph number 1. I am not asked to take salvation on the basis of an unsupported faith. For God has promised He will hear my call and answer me Himself. Let me but learn from my experience that this is true, and faith in Him must surely come to me. This is the quintessential process of fake it till you make it if you have to. I know I did for quite a few years. I would tell myself, God is going to answer me. God is going to answer me. God wants to answer me. Its purpose is to answer me. While I was having my doubts that my answers were being fulfilled, while I was doubting that God could even hear me, while I was still fearing God, while I still believed God was something other than I was, I would say to myself these statements that helped me build, in a way, a relationship, a personal relationship, because I was in expectation of all the wonderful things that God was telling me that it could do. I had an encounter, what I called my encounter of the best time in 2007, and I felt God in me. But after that experience that lasted like 45 minutes, my ego mind reassembled and began to tell me all of the things that I wasn't. So I had to tell myself, but I felt it. I know it. It was true, even though I wasn't believing it. But it was true, even though I wasn't believing it. And little by little, as it says here, let me but learn from my experience that this is true. So I learned from that experience that it was true. I knew that the only thing that was blocking it were my own thoughts. And little by little, over the years, I began to build this faith. And faith in Him must surely come to me. This is the faith that will endure and take me farther and still farther on the road that leads to Him. For thus I will be sure that He has not abandoned me and loves me still, awaiting but my call to give me all the help I need to come to Him. So I developed a relationship of speaking to God on a regular basis, of stating that God was going to answer me, of stating many times, I don't really fully believe this. I don't fully trust this. Look, things didn't turn out my way today. There's evidence that God wasn't listening. But then I would repeat it to myself, no, I don't want to believe that God isn't listening to me. What felt right was to know that not only was God listening to me, but that God was answering me. And I learned to cultivate patience. I learned to cultivate discernment. I learned to pay attention. Well, I didn't get the answer that I thought, but did I get an answer today? And I would comb through whatever happened that day, and I would see, oh, wow, I was hoping that so-and-so would call me, but I didn't get called. But what happened instead? Oh, I had another idea, and that led me to something else. And before I knew it, that thing that led me to something else circled back around a week later, and that person that I wanted to talked to me. And it was just so amazing to sit back and look for the evidence of where God was answering me. Not to say, oh yeah, God is answering my call, because I'm so powerful, but rather to develop a faith that began to trust that, yes, I'm entitled to miracles. Yes, I am a beloved child of God. It was more of a humbling myself enough to own that I am beloved. And that allowed me to cultivate faith little by little by little by little. And like I said, it took me years, to the point that today I do not doubt for 1 second that God is answering, but I now have patience. I have trust. I am gentle with myself. I don't second guess what God is doing, because I know God sees everything. And it has to find the right time for the right pieces to connect. As a matter of fact, this particular set of lessons I have redone from the lessons that were the original ones that I did in 2018. So it's 2019 now. Specifically, it's November 2019. And I'm redoing the last lessons just because I felt like redoing these. But now I have a new beloved playmate in my life. We met just a couple of months ago. But this is a gentleman who matches my level of consciousness. And we have a beautiful, fun-loving relationship. And he matches two other things that were important besides somebody who was conscious, but he matches me at the dancing level. My former boyfriend that I had last year in 2018 for about, I can't remember, 7-8 months. He was a fabulous dancer, but his consciousness, he had never even done any true spiritual work, any kind of inner healing. But he allowed me to realize how important dancing was in my life. So he came because I was asking God, I want to have a dancing partner. I had spent 33 years of my life with two different men, two different husbands that I was with that didn't dance. Yes, I went out dancing a little bit. But once my relationship completed with my previous husband in the end of 2017, I told God, I asked, I want a partner that I can dance with. And I met Dan, like, I don't know, maybe within a month's time, maybe within a couple of weeks of my declaring that in January of 2018, I wanted a dancer in my life. So I met him, we danced, but we were not well matched in other areas. And that stayed with me, how much I enjoyed the dancing. And then I decided, but I also want a conscious partner. I want somebody who I can laugh with. And it has been well over a year since that relationship completed with that Dan, until I've met this wonderful man that is just such a fun-loving playmate that matches me at the dancing level, at the consciousness level, at the fun level. There's so many things that I like. It's like, it's so easy, it's so fun, it's so well, it's fun and easy. Let's just put it that way. Well, I was not looking for a guy. I was not out there searching and on sites and trying to find a mate. I absolutely trusted that I would meet the right and perfect man at the right and perfect time, even to the point that if it wasn't in this lifetime, I was perfectly okay, because I trust that God answers. I trust that mate would show up at the right and perfect time. And this particular playmate, he was in a relationship up until maybe a few months before we met. So we there's no way we could have met. God was preparing him as God was preparing me for the right and perfect moment that we would connect, so that we would both be ready. I have to have faith in that perfection, because I can't see everything, but God can. So I need but call, and you will answer me. You, God, will answer me. I trust and have faith that is exactly what happens. Let me read the prayer, paragraph 2. Father, I thank you that your promises will never fail in my experience. If I but test them out, let me attempt, therefore, to try them and to judge them not. Your word is one with you. You give the means whereby conviction comes, and surety of your abiding love is gained at last. I learned, like I said, many years ago, to trust God. And God does not fail to show me over and over and over again how consistent it is, how absolutely, without fail, God answers us, because God only wants what is absolutely best for us, always and forever. And when you begin to trust that, your life changes, because you really realize that you have a benevolent partner with you, always and forever, has always been there. But our becoming awake is recognizing what has been there all along. And with that awareness that God is there, why would you want to use your own petty thinking to assist you in moving forward? You don't. You drop away the fears, the doubts, the worries. You let that go. And you begin to expect to be entitled to miracles, and then miracles, they have to show up. They've always been showing up, and now your vision is trained into seeing them. And that's what's so amazing about practicing these lessons, is it trains you into, even if you fake it till you make it, it trains you into trusting what is true until you begin to see it everywhere. And then your faith is set and you know the truth. And why? Because the Father has promised, and he's been delivering all along. The question is, Are you listening? Are you witnessing what is happening? Because when you begin to look for God, when you begin to listen for God, it's everywhere. Why? Because it's always been there all along. Thanks a bunch, and I'll see you in the next lesson.